Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is your weekly WWE SmackDown Live review. I'm your host, LK, here from KocoSports.net. I want to thank you for joining us here with the weekly SmackDown Live review. And if you're listening live, A, thank you, and B, put in the comments, was this show a win? Was this show a loss? Or was this show a tie? I think this is going to be a lot of mixed bag shows. I think some of you are going to enjoy the show. I think some of you hated the show. And I think some of you didn't mind the show. I'm in not minding of the show. I thought some of the parts of the show were good. Some of the parts were bad, and some of them were meh. Let's just try and forget they ever happened. I'm LK again from KocoSports. Welcome. Maybe joined by my partner Boom Booms from KocoSports also, but I've sent him the link. Don't know if he'll join. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We'll just party on. And if he doesn't, make sure you put your live comments in. And even if he does, put your live comments in, and we'll get to them once we've finished reviewing the show. So this is SmackDown Live for the 22nd of November 2016 from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, wherever the fuck that is. Guessing it's on Ontario, so near Toronto. Shane McMahon, he comes out. He's selling. He's limping. He's not doing his usual flip gimmicks, coming out, being energetic. He's selling the Survivor Series elimination match that he was in. He was selling the spear from Reigns. He was selling the elbow drop through the table. Little touches like that, I admire and love. Shane talks about his victory at the Survivor Series in the 5-on-5 elimination match for the men. I didn't like, how he didn't touch upon the losses of everything else in the opening promo. I wish he said, you know what, we won the 5-on-5, but you know what, we failed. And Team SmackDown, this will go down in history as a loss. This time next year, we'll kick their ass. Shane talks about that, blah, blah, blah. Ambrose, and he interrupts. I have my notes here. And on my notes here, it says, must get punished in big capitals. When Ambrose came out, I was adamant. I was sat there with getting like this, okay, that Ambrose must be punished. He just has to be. He cost the whole he could have cost the team the victory. He really could have. Ellsworth, Jobber James, he comes out. And I wish Booms was here so he would be devil's advocate, because you know my hatred for James. I don't hate James Ellsworth. I hate his position in the card. I think he's a comedic act that's very funny. But is that main event? We say funny doesn't make money on this channel a lot, and I think that's a fact. He should not be in that main event with AJ Styles. He should be in the mid card with Miz and Ziggler. Period. Imagine the Spirit Squad being in the main event. No, it just would not happen. So Shane gives Ellsworth a contract, plus Ambrose the night off, and demands that he leaves the building, which is a thread throughout the show. AJ comes out as Ambrose leaves. AJ complains about Ambrose at Survivor Series basically could have cost the team the elimination match and wants him punished. James and says it's nonsense that James is getting the contract. AJ Styles says, why don't we have a ladder match for James's contracts? Ellsworth accepts, but he wants a future WWE title shot if he wins. So your main event of the evening was set up. You have AJ Styles versus James Ellsworth. If James Ellsworth wins, he gets the contract and he gets a future WWE title match. And if AJ wins, he gets rid of that Jobber James forever. Then with backstage of Daniel Bryan telling Miz it's him versus Kalisto for the IC title next. And I like how on SmackDown, I can't remember what show it was. I did a review when I was talking about how WWE consistently and always do their shows from a GM's office and the locker room. I liked how Miz was in the middle of a photo shoot and then Bryan interrupts him, saying, this is more important. I'm sorry. I like that. And then we're joined. We're joined by Mr. Boom Boom.
Yeah, I'm already here, crashing the party.
Boom, the party's crashed. Booms, thoughts on SmackDown Live, win, loss, or tie?
I'm going to give it a weak tie. I think it was overbooked. They got in their own way. They had a lot of things that didn't make any sense. And plus, this is a wrestling show, and the best they could give me was 5, and I'm being very generous by saying 5 matches in 2 hours. One of them really doesn't count. So technically 4. 4 matches in 2 hours. That's just completely unacceptable. It was a huge damn clusterfuck is what it was.
You know what? Even though there wasn't that much wrestling, I thought the show entertained me at least. And when I watch Raw and SmackDown, I just want to be entertained. I could give a fuck about the wrestling. Like, okay, I want a good match in there. Okay, I want to watch the wrestling show. Obviously, I want a good wrestling match. But the build towards the pay-per-view and the entertainment overall, I think, is what makes SmackDown normally better. Now, I gave this a tie. Jobber James Ellsworth What were your thoughts on? Because I've only just covered the opening segment. So, what were your thoughts on the opening segment?
On the opening segment, for one, I thought it was kind of stupid, and here's why I thought it was stupid. It's because, okay, imagine this. Okay, imagine that KocoSports is like a business, and I'm in charge of this business. I go, okay, I've been watching all your shows. You've been doing real good. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write out a check, and I go, I'm going to give you this bonus check here because you've been working so hard. You've really earned this. I'm very proud of you. And then Sammy Sinister just interrupts and says, you know what, LK doesn't deserve that check. He hasn't had to fight and scratch and claw, because I've got a more hectic family life. There's no way he could, do what I do. He doesn't deserve that check. And then LK just goes, you know what? You're right, Sammy. I don't deserve that check. And I'm like, God, but I'm seriously going to give you this check anyway. You've been doing a good job. No, I haven't earned it. I haven't deserved it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another show. And then I'll have earned that check. And then I'm like, you don't have to do another show. I'm giving you the check right now for free. It's a bonus. You've earned it. And then you're just like, no. In fact, I'm going to do another show. And if it's not a great show, if I don't get at least, 100 live viewers, you know what? Then I'm just going to quit. I'm like, but you don't have to. No. I'm going to do it. It would be like that. People would look at you as the stupidest person on the face of the earth. So why should we look at James Ellsworth any different? It's like, okay, we're giving you this contract. You've earned it. No, he hasn't earned it. In fact, we need to have a match. And if he wins, then he gets the full-time contract. But if he loses, I get the contract. And I tear it up in his face and throw it in his face. But I'm like, and then Ellsworth is like, no. Yeah, he's right. I haven't earned it. So I want to earn this. I want to earn this thing that you're going to give to me anyway. And I'm going to look a complete total jackass if I fucking fail. I'm like, it makes no sense. I mean, it would have been different if he hadn't given him the contract. If he would have been, maybe like McMahon had been more skeptical about giving it to him, or it's like, fans, you think I should give it to him? Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Then maybe it would have made sense, but it made Ellsworth look stupid because he was going to fight, scratch, and claw, and possibly lose the thing that he was going to be given for free.
Well, he is an imbecile anyway, so it matches the character. And JBL is priceless when he's bashing James Ellsworth. I used to love JBL on commentary back in 06 and 07 because he used to get on the babyface's ass and bury them. I love it when he buries Ellsworth. I get a sensational tickling feeling down my pee-pee whenever JBL bashes Jobber James Ellsworth. We have an IC title match because basically, from what I'm gathering is, they obviously did the segment where Miz interrupts Daniel Bryan. Bryan interrupts Miz when they're doing the shooting. And then he says, because you beat Sami Zayn but cheated, I'm going to give Kalisto, who was cheated out of a Cruiserweight title match, an Intercontinental Championship match. So we have Miz and Kalisto, IC title match. Again, just scratching my head and scratching my bollocks why Kalisto has the IC title match. It's just strange. Corbin, though, he pops up onto the apron. That distracts Kalisto. Miz hits the skull-crushing finale to get the win. After the match, Corbin hits the end of days on Kalisto. As Miz is celebrating on the ramp, Ziggler hits a super kick on the Miz. I mean, you're combining two rivalries. You're combining the Corbin and Kalisto and the Ziggler and Miz, which has been going on now for what feels like 18 months. And I guess you got that going for it. The match itself wasn't bad, but I'm just still shocked why Kalisto has the IC title match in the first place, to be perfectly honest. What are your thoughts on the IC title match?
And again, here's another thing that didn't make any sense. It's, okay, Daniel Bryan was upset with Miz and Maurice because they cheated to beat Sami Zayn at SmackDown. Hey, you embarrassed SmackDown by cheating. Okay, I can maybe understand that because, okay, Daniel Bryan's a good guy and Miz is a bad guy. Okay, maybe I can understand. But the thing I don't understand is, okay, Kalisto has absolutely nothing to do with the Intercontinental Championship match. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, it's just like, it's like a pity fuck. at that point. I'm like, okay, I'm scratching my head like, why? This makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And Kalisto, God bless him, I love the guy, but he's not over. He's
No.
not over. That crowd was sitting on their hands. I was watching this. Oh, and by the way, if I could, go back and do my old-fashioned Southern lawyer there, Your Honor, I like to make the case here why we should not have this here Baron Corbin on our show here. He had one fucking job. He had one fucking job, and he fucking blew it. Everybody looked fucking stupid in this match because here's what's supposed to happen. Kalisto is supposed to wrestle The Miz. Kalisto is in said match is supposed to go to the top rope. Baron Corbin is supposed to jump the railing from the outside, come down to the ringside area, push Kalisto off the top rope, provide a distraction, allowing Miz to get the win. That's all he had to do. Instead, you see like the camera go to the outside. It's like they left the camera on. It's like they had like a hot camera, and the operator turns around, nothing, nobody there. So they go back to the ring. And then here comes Kalisto. He's climbing the top turnbuckle, and he's literally doing this. He looks stupid because he needs an excuse to take his time. He's literally looking for Baron Corbin, but he's not there. So finally, he just does this half-ass maneuver. If the camera turns again, still nobody's there. Kalisto hits the ground, misses some kind of maneuver, does a roll, goes over to the other side. Finally, that's when Corbin decides to show the fuck up. Hits Kalisto, provides the distraction, allows the Miz to hit the skull-crushing finale and get the win. Then he goes in there and absolutely just levels Kalisto with the end of days. And I'm like, that is beyond... dude, this is almost as worse as when... remember when, oh shit...
Rico on the top rope at Survivor Series 02.
That's a good name.
Jeff, god damn it, Jeff. Oh, that was
he
brilliant.
Was bouncing there. China and Jim Cornette. There was one spot. I think that might have actually been a Survivor Series. I don't think it was Survivor Series. It was the New Midnight Express versus the New Age Outlaws. There was supposed to be a spot where China was supposed to go in the ring and low blow Cornette before he could clock one of the Outlaws with the tag team title belt.
What about us?
So it was just Billy Gunn and Jim Cornette standing there just talking and talking and talking, waiting for China to come in and low blow her. And then when Dana Brooke was supposed to break up a pin between Emma and Becky Lynch in a four-way match, and she was nowhere to be fucking found. Oh god, this ranks up there with it. It just looked horrible. I'm going to stand by my statements. The only reason Baron Corbin has a job is the fact that he's a washout from the NFL, and Vince McMahon can masturbate to his photos.
Give or take. Then you have Alexa Bliss in the GM office because that's what WWE has a headquarters, and if you were watching their weekly television show, you think it would be the GM office. Alexa Bliss wants a women's title rematch after she was screwed out of it a few weeks ago when Lynch's foot was under the ropes. Lynch says she gets her rematch at TLC, even though this baffled me. So Lynch is like, yeah, you're getting your rematch at TLC when the fucking commissioner is stood right there. And he's like, why couldn't he have said that? It just, since when did Lynch make the rules? Natalya comes in, she blames Lynch for the loss at Survivor Series. Shane blames all of them, makes Lynch versus Natalya tonight. Ambrose walks in with pizza. Shane asks him to leave, and then JBL...
Oh, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you here, but can I ask a question here with Dean Ambrose? He was, apparently they were so infuriated. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were so infuriated with Dean Ambrose and his actions at the main event of Survivor Series, Team Raw, Team SmackDown. He kind of briefly reunites with the Shield to put AJ Styles to the announcer table. And they're so angry with him, so furious because it could have screwed him out. Instead of punishing him, instead of suspending him, instead of stripping, taking away his match at TLC for that stunt, instead of making him wrestle another match that night. Instead, okay, you've got to leave the building. That's his
Mhm.
punishment. But he just keeps coming back, and they keep telling him to leave, and he keeps coming back, and they keep telling him to leave, and they don't do anything. They look foolish for it. Oh, and here's another thing. Okay, this would be like I know that you're not exactly a huge fan of like your current place of employment, but can you imagine if your boss said, you know what, okay, I don't like your attitude. You're too out of control. You know what? I'm just going to give you the day off. I'm not suspending you. I'm not firing you. I'm giving you the day off with pay. I'm pretty sure LK would be like, oh, peace out, motherfuckers. And he'd be back home playing goddamn video games or fucking watching the goddamn Netflix, whatever it is fucking kids these days do. He'd be doing that shit. He wouldn't be showing back up and goes, okay, what's up? Hey, guys. No, I'm just figured I'd hang out. You know, I don't have to be here today. You're like that fucking kid in high school. It's like, oh, it's senior skip day. It's like, why are you here? It's like, well, I don't have to be here. Yeah, but you're here. Yeah, but I don't have to be here. Yeah, we understand that, but you are here. This, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how fucking stupid can you make everybody look? Okay. And plus, how stupid does Ambrose look? It's like, they're giving you the day off for pay. You don't have to beat anybody. You don't have to get beat up. There's no impending feud that you're in right now. I mean, yeah, you've got your guaranteed shot against AJ Styles. You're not even attacking him. You're not trying to get into his head of all people. You're fucking with the GM. Yeah, that's smart. Anyway, carry on.
But he's a lunatic, Bones. He's a lunatic. It's just part of his character. It's part of his character. It's part of his character. He's a lunatic, you know. He doesn't have the night off. It's Dean Ambrose. Dangerous Dean Ambrose. Jesus, that's what the fucking people online scare me a little bit. Like I always like when I'm a bit bored during these shows, the SmackDowns and the Raws, I love to go on my social media because it's so, especially Twitter, it's so fucking funny. Watching what people are saying, even funnier when they have their little bar at the bottom of the screen where it flickers and it shows you like, OMG, Styles versus Ellsworth tonight. Oh, I'm cancelling the pizza night. Like, oh, dude, please get yourself a girlfriend and touch a vagina for once in your life, you sad cunt. It's funny. I reckon if everyone in the internet infantry today, during next week's Raw, all went on Twitter and just typed in #Raw at the top of the search bar and just read what they put, you will enjoy Raw 10 times more. Guarantee that. Then we have Daniel Bryan. He finally finds Baron Corbin. His punishment, as they alluded to on Sunday Survivor Series, is he's going to be facing Kane. That's cool. Then we have a tag team turmoil, where the winners get a tag title match at the TLC pay-per-view in 2 weeks. Started off with Hype Bros and the Ascension. Oh, fucking hell. They get the Die Rider to get the win. Oh, just fucking die. Like, I don't wish death on... I don't want to wish death and I don't want to... I just want them to die. Just fucking get off this earth. Pluto, Mars, fucking go to the moon for all I care. I do not want to see Zack Ryder. I do not want to see Mojo Rawley. I really don't want to see the Ascension. You combine that and you get a get the fuck out of it card. Unbelievable. Who thought that was a great idea? Starting off with the Hype Bros. Hype Bros, then it's Hype Bros. They obviously win, so they're against Breezango. Fandango got the win with a slingshot elbow drop. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking sacks of shit. Alpha then get the win over Breezango. They then fuck and they annihilate the Vaudevillains. Like annihilate. Like Simon Gotch and Aiden English. Time to find
within like 10 seconds.
Dude, time to find a new line of work, gentlemen. Then you have Usos and Alpha. That was a pretty good back and forth. Uso got a near fall after a splash off the top. Alpha hit the grand altitude to get the win. Slater and Rhino were watching on the TV backstage looking like pedophiles. And then the lights go out. Bray Wyatt family's on the screen. Orton says, we're not a team, we're a family. And they announce next week it'll be Alpha versus Wyatts in a number one contenders match for the tag team titles.
Congratulations.
I don't get that.
You shot yourselves in the foot. You just rendered this entire match, this entire segment, goddamn pointless. It would have been one thing, like to have... okay, here's what... If they're going to do this, here's what I would suggest they have done. Is they could have done everything that they did. They could have done absolutely everything the way that they did it, and then had the Wyatt family go up and say, well, you haven't faced all the teams involved tonight. There's a late entry that you're going to have to face run, and then just boom, cue the music, have them go out there, and then just have the Wyatt family win. Instead, they go, nope, that's going to be next week. And I'm like, then why was this then this wasn't a number one contenders match, for, tag team turmoil. It's like you just made everything fucking pointless. You just buried several teams right there because, Vaudevillain's completely destroyed, the Ascension completely destroyed, and everything it just means nothing now. And so now they're gonna have to wait a week when I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, that was a big question mark on the show. It was just, you just invested like 10-15 minutes of your time into a thing where it's like, oh, but that'll be next week. It's like, I get that they're promoting next week. I really, really don't always harp on that WWE don't promote next week. But why couldn't they have just said next week is American Alpha versus Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and then did Chad Gable versus Randy Orton? Like, why couldn't they have done that? Why couldn't they have done that? Then we have backstage. Yeah. You have Dean Ambrose back in the GM office again. He's dressed as the Mountie. Shane just leaves. He's had enough. He just wants to go home. He goes home.
Why did Shane leave? Why didn't Shane seriously fine or suspend Dean Ambrose for that? Because if your boss, it's your place of employment. It doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter if you work at Walmart. It doesn't matter if you work for a Fortune 500 company. If your boss tells you to do something and you just actively, just completely give them a middle finger and say, no, I'm not going to do that, that's insubordination. And you could be terminated for that. So, but I promise you, any other line of business, the boss tells you to do something, you don't, and he tells you again and you don't, he tells you again and you don't. He's not going to go, oh, well, I'm just frustrated because I'm leaving, and that's it. No, something's going to happen to you.
Yeah. One thing I liked and disliked, they tried to paint the picture that there's so much chaos, it's absolutely chaotic, it's manic on SmackDown Live. But by doing this, there's so much, like you just pointed out, there's so much flaws in the storytelling and the writing, and there's flaws everywhere, and they're really obvious flaws. And it's just I can see what they tried to do, and I give an A for effort, like, bravo, Vince, you old cunt. But at the same time, it's like, it looked like they tried too hard to make it look chaotic, and it just became one big mess. Then we had Natalya versus Becky Lynch, non-title, of course, because it's WWE. It's Bliss versus Lynch TLC in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to that. I hope Bliss gets the win. Natalya hit a nice sit-down powerbomb for 2. He had some good near falls. Lynch applies the disarmer. Natalya taps. After the match, Bliss hits a DDT on Lynch, poses as if, the vintage point around the waist, and points as if she's going to win the title in 2 weeks' time. Decent match. Plus, we got a little bit of a build-up towards the pay-per-view. Thoughts?
No, nothing else more that I can add than what I've already done here, and then you go to the women.
Yeah, it's just who cares? Like, how many times?
You know what we need to do? Next time we start talking about these women matches, the way that, at least with the way they're being portrayed right now, we need to put on smokers jackets. We need to get a little pipe and have a little glass of cognac and be like, yes, the women, amusing, they're wrestling,
I've got half of that. I've got. What about the walking stick? Which I can extend. So let's extend this old thing. I'm not very good at using this gimmick. I really am not. Shame. So we got the walking stick. I think that's as high as it goes. Yep. Before I break it. So we got the walking stick. Got the old drink. Oh, these women. They went out there and they tried to participate in what was known as a wrestling match in the World Wrestling Entertainment.
Here's another thing. I understand that the GMs on SmackDown are good guys and everything, but why is there no consequences for shitting the bed and losing to Team Raw?
Oh, no. No, there was. No, actually, you're right. There wasn't. It's embarrassing. It's shambles. Well, this company's a joke. We've already established this. We thought the company was insulting on Sunday. They thought they were mediocre at best on Monday, and back to doing what they do best on Tuesday, fucking everything up. And I'm going to be honest, I think Monday Night Raw was actually better than SmackDown Live this week.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on that? I actually believe I enjoyed Raw more than I enjoyed SmackDown.
You know what? I don't think I could disagree. I mean, and because remember, I just gave Raw like a tie because to me it was just bland. It was just like mashed potatoes. It was like, okay, it's here. It's okay. It's filler. It's good. But whereas SmackDown just it's like I mean, dude, I have poked so many holes in the fucking storylines already. We're not even done yet.
And then we have the worst segment of the whole entire night. We have the Hype Bros in a WWE shop vignette. And you know what I did? Up on the wall here, it's kind of in the office. It's a bit flimsy. And I had a little poster stuck up, and it's like a thumbtack. It's a thumbtack. And every time they said one word, it was getting closer and closer and closer. And you know what I had to do? I had to flip these headphones off, and I had to throw this away. Thankfully, I found it. Unbelievable. Awful, awful. Whoever thought that was a good idea, fired on the spot. While you're there, fire fucking Zack Ryder. Murder. I want public... public execution brought back so we can have fucking Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley, sat in a chair, fucking put the headset. Who's fucking hype now, Mojo Rawley? Who's hype now, you fucking... God, I hate them so much. You do not understand. Just the look on Mojo's face when he's dancing. Oh, fuck off. Go fucking do something else and annoy someone else, you stupid twat. We're in the GM office again, because that's where they live. Miz wants Ziggler suspended. So Brian makes Ziggler versus Miz in a last time ever ladder match at the TLC pay-per-view for the Intercontinental title. I do not mind as long as they stick with the stipulation of last time ever, because the career match should have been the last time ever. And then the match after that should have been the last time ever. Another match after that better be the last time ever. No excuses. I never want to see Miz and Ziggler lock up again for at least another 2 years.
Yeah, it's starting to hit like John Cena, Randy Orton territory.
Oh, dude, don't get me started. The reason this show sucked was because we didn't get Randy Orton match. Then we had Nikki Hall Bella. She says Carmella took her out. But, no, I'm sorry, I'm doing this wrong. It's about the women, isn't it? I'll get my walking stick out. Mm-hmm. It's about the women. So Nikki Bella, she wants to know why Carmella took her out last week. You know what that old bird said? She said, "Mate, I promise you, buddy, I did not do it." The horse says, "Okay, we will have a no DQ match." You still didn't figure out who fucking did it. Who's lying and who's not.
Yeah, who shot JR, who attacked Nikki Bella.
Who ran over Austin, or who fucked Nikki Bella so hard to the point where she couldn't participate in the Survivor Series match. Unbelievable. What a joke. Speaking of joke, had Kane versus Baron Corbin, and I don't want to talk about it because I like Kane, and I don't want to demolish this guy's name. So Kalisto comes out. He costs Corbin the match. Kane chokeslams Corbin. He then fucks off. Kalisto then goes to hit Corbin with a chair. Corbin gets out of there. And then Corbin, for some fucking reason, runs back into the ring with Kalisto having a chair. Kalisto throws a chair at him and then fucking spin kicks him in the face. Corbin then fucking runs away. This is obviously leading to a chairs match at TLC between Corbin and Kalisto. But why the fuck did Corbin run back in? Like, he did the chicken shit hill thing of running away. Oh, and then you're like, boo, fuck you, Corbin. And then he ran back in for some reason. Why didn't he just walk around, grab a chair himself, and then go back in there? Fucking hell. Thoughts on that mess?
It was just that. It was a mess. I mean, it just made Corbin look even more incompetent.
Then we had a ladder match.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, okay, you're going to have to tell me what happened in this, because I legitly, and I'm not exaggerating, I legitly fell asleep.
Fair enough.
For this guy, I'm not lying. I'm not trying to sound cool. I literally was watching this on the couch after the Kalisto thing. I roll my eyes. The next thing I know, I'm asleep. And then I open my eyes up like, oh, shit, the show's over with. Fuck, I need to get on air. That's what happened. So please tell me what happened.
So yeah, Jobber James in the main event again. That's upsetting. And the fact he's sharing a ring with AJ Styles is not fair, and it should be against the law. So the match is going on. Ambrose comes in dressed as a fan, of course. He takes out AJ. AJ then takes out Ambrose with a phenomenal forearm. Ellsworth then throws... So Styles is now climbing. Ellsworth throws Styles off the top of the ladder down to the floor. Ellsworth hits the sweet chin music, which is called no chin music. And then AJ's legs are trapped on the ropes, so he can't physically get out. Ellsworth climbs. He gets the contract. AJ's stuck there. AJ and Dean, Ellsworth and Dean, they celebrate. They get onto the announce table, and JBL shouts, "Get him away from me! He might be contagious, that freak!" Like, literally, he's so funny. He's burying his ass hard. Ellsworth is, like, crying, and go fuck himself.
Okay, so...
I'm happy for the guy.
Okay, so Ellsworth had a match and went through all this shit to get something that he was going to be given anyway.
Pretty much. But he does get a future WWE title match.
And AJ Styles lost for the third time against James Ellsworth. The WWE World Heavyweight Champion lost for the third time against James Ellsworth.
Pretty much. Embarrassing, isn't it?
I'm all for... No, here's the thing. I'm all for... comedy's fine. There is time, there is a place for comedy in professional wrestling. But what WWE doesn't seem to understand, and I have to steal this point here from Brian Zane, who I saw make this point online, is if you do this in the lower card, that's fine. But when you start to make comedy the focus of the show, and you put it in the title picture, the main title picture, then that's carrying it too far. And I agree. I think you're carrying this way too far. I mean, it's like Gilbert. God, I'm going way back to the Attitude Era, but Gilbert, Dwayne Gill, a guy who made a career after a while being a parody of Bill Goldberg. Yeah, they did that, and it was fine, but he never did that, against, like Steve Austin and Triple H back when they were feuding with the championship. They never did it there. They did it on the show, but not in the main event. And they didn't do it for like 2 months straight.
True. And it's the same thing. And imagine, I swear, if they have Ellsworth beat AJ, even if it's just for 1 week and then AJ gets it back the next week, I will be so fucking mad.
And here's the thing. I don't hate Ellsworth. I don't hate him. I just think it's just completely out of place. And congratulations to him for getting the contract. I mean, that was announced this week. I know you were not particularly a big fan of it, at least from what I've read on social media. But, I mean, congratulations. This is a guy who got himself over, who connected with the fans, and got himself a job. God bless him.
I'm just not happy with the fact it's in the main event. How many weeks have we hyped on it, popped, and just said and said and said? We have no issue with this. The issue is it's the main event. This is AJ Styles, a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. A wrestler, sorry. A once-in-a-lifetime wrestler. And you're having him lose all his credibility to a guy who's a fucking lowlife. I don't like saying this. He's a jobber. Okay, he is a enhancement talent who is winning matches against the world champion. The payoff is going to be AJ killing him, so he's going to end up career over. I'm annoyed they signed him to a contract, because what are they going to do? Have him go after the world champion every fucking week? Have him main event and get title matches? Are we going to get AJ versus Ellsworth at fucking Royal Rumble? Unbelievable. What are they playing at, imbeciles?
Well, it's going to be scary because, well, not scary, but this is just like, it's like a trend thing. Anything that was like a trend, here's an example. Remember when Chuck Norris jokes were a thing?
No.
Okay, well, I know you're just a little bit younger there, but when I was in college, I remember the whole, Chuck Norris, when he ever does push-ups, it's not him doing push-ups, it's him pushing the earth down. Chuck Norris doesn't actually swim. Water just naturally wants to be around him. Chuck Norris sued NBC because he says the name Law and Order violates the trademark for his left and right leg. That was a big funny thing. Back, I think this was like the mid-2000s. Well, then World of Warcraft did like a commercial about it like about a year or two ago after the whole thing had jumped the shark. And it's just like, okay, now you've just completely missed the boat here. And that's what with Ellsworth is, this shtick is funny now, but it's going to jump the shark probably within 6 months. It's going to jump the shark. It probably won't be funny anymore. And now you've got a one-trick pony, and what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now once the joke wears off? Once the novelty wears off, what are you going to do?
And I guess you can't really take him seriously. Like, Colin Delaney had that problem, didn't he? He went so long, he then finally got a win, and then just got jobbed and then got fired. Like, you just said, what can they do with this guy? They're going to stick him as a manager, or do a thing where he has a crush on a female. What the fuck are they going to do?
If it was up to me, and I actually had to do this, and I had to okay, I'm going to get as much mileage out of this with Ellsworth, AJ, Dean Ambrose, whatever, as much as I can, for as long as I can now. And I know it's only going to be a matter, like I said, maybe 6 months, maybe 6 months. But once you start to jump that shark, here's what I do. I send him down to NXT. I completely repackage him. I mean, I'm talking about working on new movesets, new character, new look, new everything, and then I bring them back up. Because that's the only. Because if you don't change them after this joke runs out, I mean, you're wasting your time and you're wasting his, because ultimately you're going to job him again and then you're going to fire him.
I think this time next year he'll be fired. I'll be really shocked if Ellsworth isn't fired this time next year. But I mean, so as a whole, you know, SmackDown was a weak tie, like a very weak tie. It was okay. I understand that they went for the chaotic feel. Like, okay, this show is madness, it's chaotic, but by doing it, there's so many flaws in the story. If any other company was writing that, and there was no flaws, I think this would be absolutely brilliant. Like, the chaos, just madness. But because it's WWE, there's so many flaws, and there's so many writers, I'm shocked that they got it this wrong. It's an embarrassment. If I'm on that writing team, I'm not putting that I write for WWE TV on my CV when I get fired shortly for disagreeing with Vince McMahon. Like, you're going to disagree with Vince, then he's going to fire you. You're going to put on your CV you were a WWE writer. Because then if they see your program and they're like, okay, what have they written? Okay, SmackDown Live, episode 901. You watch it and you're like, flaw, not hiring you. You know, it's just dangerous. And these are meant to be professional writers, which is a joke. We'll get to some live comments before we wrap this bad boy up. So we have Ronan Gibbons gives it a tie also. We both agree. Heavy J says, AJ Styles had a 5-star matches with Okada, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, John Cena. But the one guy he can't be is James Ellsworth, a indie jobber. Kevin X Snell says, if I booked James Ellsworth and AJ Styles like this on Total Extreme Wrestling, AJ would be pissed and probably quit. That's really funny. That's probably what would happen if you played that game. And they've made a new version of that game, which I want to check out. I have no idea. I'm so bad at... I'm good at video games, but computer games on a PC, I stink at. Kevin X Snell says, only one man can stop James Ellsworth. That's Heath Slater. Heavy J says, since when did WWE care about making sense? That's true. Since when did they care about anything?
Yes.
Very true. Gary North says, I agree, okay, I hate them also, alluding to the hype bros. I'm glad everyone hates them. And if you want to send him hate mail, please send him as much as you can and say it was from me. And well, I'll retweet every fucking one of them. Yeah. Anyway, Booms, let's show them why you're the best. Shows for tomorrow. Are you available for shows tomorrow?
Okay, I might be able to do NXT tomorrow. I've got to work on Thanksgiving, but it won't be my normal shift. It'll be like I'll have to come in like kind of in the morning time instead of like super early like I normally do. So I think as long as we're not dicking around, I'm pretty sure I can do a show tomorrow.
Awesome. So we have an NXT review tomorrow. I'll be doing I'll be doing an NXT review tomorrow. Thursday will be Lucha Underground as well as Lucha Elite. Then Friday got TNA Ring of Honor. And then Saturday's my day off. And then Sunday I'll review something. I'm in the middle of reviewing 01's 15th anniversary show from earlier this month. So Sunday will probably be that, as well as the ACW event that took place on Sunday on Flow Slam. So lots to look forward to, Booms. Show them why you're best salesman in the business.
I want to tell everybody, check us out at KocoSports.com. That's KocoSports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. It's where the world goes to kick ass, and most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. You can also check us out. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so be sure to like and subscribe to us. We're cranking out shows all the time, as LK just said. So we appreciate the support. And Dave Koco, yes, I've checked with Koco. He's fine. Koco's fine. No earthquake. Basically, earthquake, tsunami, that's just business as normal for those guys. They're just like, oh, earthquake, okay. Tsunami, fuck it, I live in a high rise.
Message for the Japanese people. On a serious note.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a message to the Japanese people. If you're involved in that tsunami, and you're a parent, and you die, make sure you blame Vince McMahon. Blame him. Let's get this man sued. Let's get this man in prison. Let's get him away from the WWE writing team. Thank you, and God bless, and pray for Japan. Wrap it up. This is awkward.